welcome to episode 10 of Let's Talk About Fantastic Beasts. Today we are going to be talking about Pygmy Puffs. So as always, I will be using my copy of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Let's get started, shall we? Okay, so there's actually nothing about Pygmy Puffs specifically in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them book, but Pygmy Puffs are miniature Puffskeins and they do reference those in the books. So if we read about what it says about Puffskeins, just imagine a Pygmy Puff being a miniature version of that. So, Puffskein. Now, this is circled and it says here, I had one of them once, what happened to it? Fred used it for bludger practice, and that's just there, written in Ron Weasley's handwriting. And it says Ministry of Magic Classification 2, which means harmless / maybe domesticated. The Puffskein is found worldwide. Spherical in shape and covered in soft custard-coloured fur, it is a docile creature that has no objection to being cuddled or thrown about. Easy to care for, it emits a low humming noise when contented. From time to time, a very long, thin pink tongue will emerge from the depths of the Puffskein and snake through the house searching for food. The Puffskein is a scavenger that will eat anything from leftovers to spiders, but it has a particular preference for sticking its tongue up the nose of sleeping wizards and eating their bogies. How lovely! This tendency has made the Puffskein much beloved by wizarding children for many generations, and it remains a highly popular wizarding pet. A Pygmy Puff is a miniature Puffskein bred by Fred and George Weasley and sold at their shop, Weasley Wizard Wheezers, as one of the known products in the Wonder Witch range. It is one of their most popular products, as George said they were having trouble breeding them fast enough for the demand. Ginny Weasley bought a purple Pygmy Puff named Arnold in August 1996, which she played with at Hogwarts. Ginny once joked that her brother Ron had a tattoo of a Pygmy Puff without saying where, when Romilda Vane was pestering her about whether Harry Potter had a tattoo of a hippogriff. Pygmy Puffs resemble little fluffy balls that roll around, squeak, and come in various shades of pink and purple. Luna Lovegood believed that all Pygmy Puffs sing on Boxing Day. A group of Puffskeins or Pygmy Puffs is called a Puffle. While some magical creatures can naturally change their size, Pygmy Puffs would appear to be violations of the ban on experimental breeding. However, as they are merely miniature pink or purple Puffskeins, this may not count as an offence, as Fred and George Weasley may have attained a special licence to breed them. Fred and George Weasley actually created Pygmy Puffs, which not many people know. There have been different versions of Puffskeins, I think. I don't think we've ever seen a Puffskein in the films, although we have seen Pygmy Puffs. But the Puffskeins do play quite important roles in the video games, as far as my memory serves. Will we see a Pygmy Puff or a Puffskein in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them? I would say yes. We won't see a Pygmy Puff. This film is set 50 or 60 years before Harry Potter, and Fred and George Weasley created Pygmy Puffs around the time of Half-Blood Prince. So we won't see a Pygmy Puff in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, but in terms of a Puffskein, I think we might. And the reason I think that is because we've seen them in the video games quite a lot, as far as memory serves, but we've never seen them in the films, and it's just a natural transition. The video games have already given us a basis as to what Puffskeins look like, and obviously Pygmy Puffs are smaller versions of Puffskeins, so you can imagine what they look like. Fantastic Beasts might do a different take on what they look like if they do them, but I think it would just be a natural progression and a natural transition to have them, the Puffskeins, go from the video games, and mentioned in the books of course, onto the big screen in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I would say yes, a Puffskein may feature in Fantastic Beasts, but a Pygmy Puff of course won't, because they weren't created during this time period. So let's talk about merchandising. There is quite a bit of Pygmy Puff merchandise. I don't think there's any Puffskein merchandise in particular. I can't seem to recall a teddy of a Puffskein or anything like that, but there is Pygmy Puff merchandise. So let's go with what I have. I have 2 Pygmy Puff keychains in purple and pink. I would show you, but they're up there. So they're from the Warner Brothers Studio Tour, and you can get them in Orlando as well, and I assume the other Harry Potter parks. So they're just little keychains. I'm sure you've probably seen the Pygmy Puff keychains before. So I have those. Then I have the bigger versions, again from the Studio Tour, in pink and purple. I have both bigger versions of the Pygmy Puffs. And I also have a pink Pygmy Puff from America, which is pretty much exactly the same as the one from England, but the tags are obviously different. So I know I think that's all the Pygmy Puff merchandise I have. I have 5 cuddly toys. You can get a Pygmy Puff t-shirt, which I've seen from the studio tour. You can get Pygmy Puff slippers, which look adorable, and they are definitely on my to-do or to-buy list. The Pygmy Puff slippers are adorable. There are a picture of the Pygmy Puff plushes here, if you can see that very well. I know my phone camera's not great, but they're the ones I have. And yeah, so there's a t-shirt, there's slippers. I'm not sure what else there is, so I've just got it on the internet. There's, oh yeah, this happens in America, but it doesn't happen in England. There's the naming ceremony, which is a mini show that accompanies purchasing a Pygmy Puff plush, in which a shopkeeper will ring a bell and announce that you've adopted one, and sometimes the name you have chosen. So that doesn't happen in the Warner Brothers studio tour when you buy a Pygmy Puff, but I have seen footage of the naming ceremony happening in America. The key, oh yeah, I haven't seen these yet. I forgot to say this. My keychains and teddies are just plushes, they don't make a sound. But it says here, the keychains and plushes with sound are also available at the Making of Harry Potter. I've seen these as well. Giant Pygmy Puff plushes and Pygmy Puff earmuffs and t-shirts. Yeah, I forgot about the earmuffs. And that's really it. I think maybe Pygmy Puff pyjamas would be really cute. If you've ever seen any Pygmy Puff pyjamas, please let me know. I don't think there's any Puffskein merchandise at all. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I think if we do see a Puffskein in Fantastic Beasts, there will of course be merchandise. The last thing we usually talk about is the history behind these certain beasts, but Pygmy Puffs and Puffskeins, as far as my knowledge serves, were made by J.K. Rowling entirely for Harry Potter, so there is no history. So that's really all we can talk about today. Pygmy Puffs are definitely one of my favourite Fantastic Beasts. So yeah, that's all we can really talk about this week. Next week, I have it written down. Next week, we'll be talking about merpeople and Grindylows. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you, as always, for watching, and I will see you next Sunday with another episode of Let's Talk About Fantastic Beasts. Thank you. Bye-bye.